Israeli Defense Forces have slammed the incidents of protesters breaking into army bases, saying that the demonstrations at the Teiman base and the Beit Lid military base harmed national security as the military was compelled to halt its deliberations on the action along the northern front due to the protests at the army bases. Now, the IDF said that to control the situation and secure the Beit Lid military army base, it had to move troops from the West Bank, calling for the calm at the Teiman base. Now, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also condemned the break-in. While Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said the incident gravely harmed Israeli democracy and played into the hands of Israel's enemy at the time of war, Gallant further said the IDF has his full support to take necessary measures to prevent the unauthorized entry of civilians into the IDF bases. Israel witnessed hours of chaos on Monday after far-right protesters supported by ultra-nationalist politicians stormed into military bases. The protesters sought the release of 9 reservists who were detained for the probe into suspected substantial abuse of Palestinian detainee. The reservists were staying at the Teiman detention facility. Disturbances began as soon as the news of the detention spread. Dozens of protesters, including far-right Knesset members, barged into the base. Then the 9 reservists were transported to the Beit Lid base, which is the headquarters of Israel's military courts and military police. The protesters broke into the premises and clashed with the military police, officers and the soldiers. Now, among the demonstrators at the Beit Lid base, armed and masked soldiers were also present. When IDF Chief Herzel Halevi arrived at the base, he was met with chants of "Resign." Our correspondent Jody Cohen explains what the response has been across Israel over these detentions and the subsequent protests. Listen to her.
Right, so Israel's detained some of its own soldiers on suspicion of breaking the IDF code of conduct and assaulting a Palestinian detainee. Nationalist activists have protested in support of the soldiers who they said were acting in self-defense. Among the protesters were a few members of the ultra-nationalist parties in the coalition, and some protesters have broken into a military base where the soldiers were being held. Now, the IDF chief, Herzi Halevi, has said that the protests harmed Israel's army, security and war effort. Prime Minister Netanyahu, Defense Minister Gallant and President Herzog all strongly criticized the rioting. In terms of the accusations against the soldiers, the IDF has said it's carrying out investigations into reports of mistreatment, which it says it's taking very seriously. Right, so the detention incident is reportedly one reason for a delay in Israel's response to Hezbollah. That's after the drone attack against Israel on a football pitch, which killed 12 children and injured dozens more, and despite the fact that there have been further barrages of rockets fired towards Israel on Monday. Now, according to reports, another reason for the delay could be the diplomatic efforts led by the United States to try to limit Israel's response, as happened, for example, with diplomatic efforts after Iran's direct attack on Israel in April. Now, US National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby has said that Israel has every right to respond to the deadly Hezbollah attack, but suggested that fears of an all-out war between Hezbollah and Israel, he believes, are exaggerated. Meanwhile, an anonymous Lebanese official has said that Hezbollah has started moving some of its smart precision precision-guided missiles to use if necessary. Israel has suggested that its response will be harsh, but it doesn't want an all-out war. It wants to see Hezbollah retreat to the Litani River. That's the UN-recognized boundary between Lebanon and Israel. So it remains to be seen how Israel and then Hezbollah would respond.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.